like a circle in a spiral, like a wheel within a wheel, never ending or beginning, like the circles that you find in the windmills of your mind.
Visit StogieGeeks.com/debonaire for a list of retailers who carry debonair cigars. Buy some today and get a little more debonair. Welcome back, everyone, to the Stogie Geek Show. This is, of course, our debonair ideal segment for this evening. Very excited, as always, about debonair cigars. They're awesome cigars. You should try them. Go visit the link, find a retailer that carries them, and smoke them. I mean, everything from the small little first degree all the way up to the Salomon is just awesome. Will, I know that you've got some news about where Phil is going to be at. He's actively doing some events here in New England to release his new Indian Motorcycle Ultra Premium line, which is the follow-on to the Debonair line.
Yeah, he's got a series of events coming. On the 17th, he's going to be at Owl Smoke Shop in Worcester, Massachusetts. On the 18th, he's going to be at Mickey Blake's in Connecticut. And then on the 19th, he's going to be making his way into Rhode Island. He's going to be doing an event at Joyle's. And, Paul, I believe that's a dinner. Are they doing a dinner, correct, on that?
Yeah, it's from, I got some more information from Paul Joyle on that. It's from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. at Club Jocks here in Coventry, Rhode Island, which is like literally 5 minutes from the studio and 5 minutes from my house. It's like in between my house and the studio, so it's like I could throw a rock and hit it from here. Well, most things in Rhode Island I could probably throw a rock and hit. It's a pretty small state, but it's a great venue. You know, they got horseshoes. It's a nice location. I'm hoping that we get great weather so we can be outside smoking and enjoying some the new Indian Motorcycle Ultra Premium cigars.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people on social media smoking and enjoying them.
Yeah. And I will be there at that event on the 19th. So
that's awesome.
Rhode Island's so small. Could Brady throw a football across the state?
Probably. He could probably hit Massachusetts, Connecticut, right from Rhode Island. Yeah. Pretty much wherever he is in the state.
Yeah.
And it'll be a touchdown pass.
Against the Giants. In a Super Bowl.
It could be just Brady against the entire New York Giants team, and Brady would win.
Yes.
It's like the whole Bears thing. Like, it could be Ditka, right? That could be Brady. Oh, I got so excited I lost my little microphone condom.
Yeah, you lost your... I was going to say the thing. You lost your condom.
I did.
Oh, boy.
I did. So, Will, what are we talking about for our Debonair ideal segment for this evening?
Actually, it was kind of memorable moments while smoking a cigar. So, and I think that kind of ties in with the whole concept of the Debonair ideal. When you're having cigars with people, there's often you're sharing times, and then there's often memorable events that happen, whether it's your favorite team winning.
Yeah, I know for me, Will, like I've got at least 4 from when the Patriots won the Super Bowl. I know that for your team, you only have 2.
So Paul has smoked double the memorable cigars that you have. Again, not an expert in math, but it's double.
I keep reminding him that we won 4 Super Bowls tonight. But there are only 2 that I won when I smoked cigars.
It's not going to get old.
It's not going to get old at all.
Oh, sorry.
Also, what did you do? Did you have a memorable moment the night you lost those 2 Super Bowls to the Giants with a cigar?
It doesn't matter because I've had 4 other ones where
they eclipsed it.
They eclipsed it. And then I still celebrated the undefeated season, which I'm pretty sure the Giants never had an undefeated season either.
Did you?
I'm actually sure of that.
42. You got to remember that.
I celebrated that.
Oh, let's check Google. Yep, that's correct.
18-1.
Every time Brady's thrown a touchdown pass, I've celebrated. That's got to be more than a lot of things all put together for the Giants.
So you guys,
I do remember when the Patriots won their most recent Super Bowl, I did smoke an Opus X Love Affair cigar.
I smoked a Lost City Lancero. As a matter
I
of
smoked a
fact.
Lost City Lancero
Lancero.
when my second son was born.
Yes.
That's funny. That was our same celebratory
Yes.
cigar for that.
My go-to.
I bought a box of because it was born around St. Patrick's Day for my second son, Illusion 888 Candela.
Like those.
Yep. So that's another kind of memorable cigar for me. Will, what about you?
well, believe it or not, one memorable one I have is I actually smoked a new Camacho Corojo when it was rebranded. But kind of the special thing why that sticks in my mind is it was in 2013 at the IPCPR, and I happened to be at the Davidoff kiosk located at the Palazzo. And while I'm standing there with a buddy of mine, we're buying the cigar, that which just happened to be the Camacho Corojo. Up walks a woman by the name of Courtney Aiken, who used to be with Davidoff, with Coach Mike Ditka. And I knew Courtney, and we're talking, and next thing we got invited to sit with the coach over at the Champagne Circle. It wasn't the Circle Bar, it was the Champagne Bar, and I'm smoking this Corojo with Mike Ditka, and he's a great guy. But I'll never forget, while I'm smoking, I don't know, somehow we got on the subject of cigars and cigar reviews, and he kind of looks at me, points his finger at me, and he says, "I don't care what anybody says. I like big ring gauge cigars." I wasn't arguing. Whatever you say, Coach. I was like,
You know what? No, I can see Ditka smoking a big ring gauge cigar.
I don't see Ditka smoking a Lancero. I'm sorry.
No, I agree.
He's not a petite Corona guy.
No.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Lancero nub.
No.
No.
Yes.
Oh, here I got this Lancero in my case. No, I wasn't. So that was and then the other thing, I actually got another sports star I got to smoke with was Mike Piazza. And it was at a place called Florio's in New York City, which had a private cigar lounge upstairs from a restaurant. I was smoking a house barber pole when Mike Piazza walked in, and it was he was super nice, one great guy, told a ton of stories, and it was a few days before that Mitchell report came out, and I was really hoping he wasn't on that Mitchell report after smoking with him, and he wasn't, but he could not have been a nice. He was just like a regular guy. Mike Piazza's a big cigar fan.
What about you guys? Memorable cigars, specifically.
I think for me, every year on the 4th of July, me and one of my best friends, who I don't get to see very often, he's got a family and everything like that, I don't get to see him very often, but every year on the 4th of July, since I think maybe 2007 or 2008 or something like that, he and I get together and we smoke that previous year's Camacho Liberty.
Yes.
Every year.
Camacho Liberty is a very good celebratory cigar.
It is.
A lot of July 4th, I've tried to smoke the oldest Camacho Liberty that's in. Unfortunately, the Camacho Liberties that are really old have all been smoked in my humidor.
Me too.
But
I have one
in
left.
2009, I remember smoking like a 2004.
Yeah.
But I very vividly remember smoking those on the 4th of July.
Yep. I do that every year. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's, I think,
and
a
getting
memorable
really
moment
drunk and
for me.
letting off fireworks while I'm smoking too
It's tremendous.
seems to be
holding a bottle rocket and shooting it.
You know what's funny? I got a Snow kind of ties in with both PDR and Christoph. Namely, I remember I smoked my first Christoph Intensivo. We had a basically what equivalent of a blizzard in North Carolina. We had about 8 inches of snow.
Which
And
is
I'm in
like
my-
a dusting here, by the way.
Which is a dusting, but it paralyzes. It paralyzes it, and I remember I had my garage door open, and I had the heater kind of going, and I'm smoking that Intensivo, watching the snow come down. And then with PDR, the Oscura, which is the Capa Oscura, which is the red label.
Paul's smoking it
I'm
now.
smoking that now. It's awesome, dude. It's
Yeah,
pouring smoke. It's
well,
great.
My local, we after the Maduro came out, which was a big hit. Abe kind of my local shop, which was Outland in North Carolina, was like one of the first retailers to get the Capa Oscura. And I went to the shop the day it was like a semi-ice storm, which again will paralyze a southeastern city to pick up my box of the Capa Oscuras. So they were both tied in with snow, actually.
Yeah.
And this is like about 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah.
You know, excuse me, it doesn't need to be a significant event for me to remember when I smoked a cigar. Stogie Sand and I have shared a lot of cigars together, and it could just be just for no reason. Stogie Sand's coming over. We're sitting on my front porch. We smoked these Cohiba Robustos that he had aged in his humidor. Awesome cigar, and it sticks out in my mind. It's just there was no significant event other than he was just coming over. And we are going to hang out and have a cigar. Yeah. Mark Jr. is the same way. Who used to be on the show. Mark Jr.'s moved to New York, so he's no longer local to where the studio is. But we used to get together on Sunday nights a lot to watch football. Regardless of who is playing, whatever. We just get together and we'd be like, all right, I got this aged Opus X and he's got this aged Opus X. Sometimes we'd try and match them up and we'd smoke the same aged Opus X cigar or whatever just to, have a cigar together. And it's just something about sharing it with your friends, something special, and you're both smoking the same one. That makes it even more special. Even if the cigar sucked, it was whatever. We went through this journey together, for no other reason than we're just getting together. Yeah. We're gonna try smoking this, Opus X cigar. We smoked an original. Actually, Mark Jr. and I both smoked. The memorable one was an original Opus X double Corona from the first rolling.
Wow.
We each had one. I paid a ridiculous amount of money for it. Mark Jr. had one in his humidor. They were the same size. And we both lit it up together. And we're both wow. The first third was absolutely amazing. And then we were both kind of wow, that wasn't so great. But we could console each other.
Yeah, it happens.
We're wow, the first third was great. We're all excited. And then it was kind of just, okay after that. But those are some of the, more memorable cigar moments. So.
Yeah, Paul, the one I remember, you probably don't remember this one, but you came down to Mooresville.
Yes.
To see your dad, and we went out for sushi with your dad and your son, and we went back to your dad's house, and I remember your son's running around the backyard.
He's an animal, that kid.
Yeah,
both my kids are animals.
And you and I were just smoking, and I think that was the night we really laid out a lot of the vision for how we wanted to take the show forward. So it was a great. I remember.
What did we smoke then? I don't remember.
We were smoking Fuentes that night. I believe we were smoking Opus. Yeah.
That was a big moment.
It was a big moment.
It was a big moment.
I used to talk about it on the show, and I was very open about it. In 2008, I had a lot of stuff go on in my life. Lost my job, my home, my car. This is what really spurred the radio show on. Because I went into another job, another career. I was doing different things. The one constant thing I had in my life was cigars. And it was with my buddies. On a Thursday night, we'd get together, the whole 9 yards. So I was going to this job that I was working for, and I really didn't care for it that much. And my bank account was seized. I just traded in my Nissan 350Z, and I was driving an old beat-up pickup truck. And I was smoking a 2009 Casa Fernandez Arsenio, which it was a great cigar for the price point. It's a $4.95 cigar, and it was awesome. And I was driving, and we just started the radio show, and I was trying to make ends meet, try to make bills, the whole 9 yards. I was going back to finish my degree in college, so I was working 2 jobs, going to school. I knew it was a Thursday morning. I'm going to this job. I'm going to meet the guys for cigars later. I'm smoking the cigar, and it was just a beautiful day. And Cage the Elephant, No Rest for the Wicked was on.
No Rest for the Wicked.
Right. And that's what we used to... After this moment is what we used to open my radio show with, that song. And if we did an event, if it was a live event, we'd play that. Guys knew that song. They knew that was coming on. It was a heightened moment. I just remember when that came on, I was like, everything's going to be all right. You know what? I'm going to meet the guys for cigars later tonight. I'm going to smell that wafting scent in the air as I walked up to my buddy's pool because he lived in a condo place. And we met there. And everything just seemed to come together and was going to be all right. And cigars did that. And that's why I guess I have a passion for cigars.
One of the pivotal moments for me in my cigar smoking history is, I don't know if I was a junior or senior in college, right? I don't want to say I was a poor college student. I worked through college, and I was very fortunate to have my college paid for and all that stuff. But I went on the trip to Belize, and I went with a very limited amount of money with me. And it got to the end of the trip, and we stayed in this hotel in Belize City before we were about to fly home. And there was another student who was a little older, did college after he was a little older, And everyone else is kind of like, I'm not really into cigars. But I was into cigars when I was in college because my dad was. We used to smoke cigars all the time. So me and this guy were like, we're like the only two that are into cigars. We got the hotel, and they had all these Cuban cigars laid out. And I'm like, whatever cash I had left, I bought myself a cigar and a beer. Right? And we sat there, and we had a cigar. And it was kind of the same thing. Like, those was my last piece of cash that I had with me on the trip kind of thing. Yeah. And I ended up graduating college in 99 in technology, which is people who paid attention to the economy at that time, like, was a really good time.
Yeah, to be in technology.
Like, they would give people BMWs and stuff like that, right? But I always remember the moment where, like, my last few dollars worth of cash went to a cigar and a beer.
We had $32.50, and the cigar was $31. You had $1.50. How much is the beer? $1.75. $1.50?
Yeah. I'll take a cigar and a beer. I don't know what I'm going to eat tomorrow on the plane ride home. Like, hopefully they give us a meal. That was the time when they give you a meal on the plane ride home. So I'm like, I'll eat in the, whatever they give us on the plane and then ride home just so I can have a cigar and a beer.
Peanuts.
Peanuts is what you get now.
How many bags of peanuts you want? 5. We only give 2.
They actually they actually give you a meal. Back then, they give you a meal, right? This was before September 11th. This was before all that stuff. So they actually give you a meal on the plane.
I'm flying home tomorrow.
Are you?
It's September 11th tomorrow. I'm flying home.
Spooky day.
It kind of is. It really is. It is a little weird.
Still, after all that time, it's still a spooky day.
It is.
You'll be fine.
I mean, I fly 100,000 miles a year, so there's no problem flying. And my wife said, I'm flying tomorrow. It's September 11th. I said, yeah, do we have a life insurance policy on that? She said, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. But I think one of the weirder things for me is, like, my father, I got into cigars. My father never smoked cigars. Mm-hmm. My grandfather never smoked cigars. Nobody in my life ever smoked cigars. It's just something that I got into just
interesting
via
Me
weirdness.
Too. Same way.
I just kind of walked into it. And now it's totally changed my life. I mean, I graduated from college. I got a great career in retail. I worked for big corporations, Target, Bed Bath & Beyond, stuff like that. And I walked away when I met Glenn Case, and cigars totally changed my life. It was something I would do after working 80 hours a week in retail. I would come, and there was always a cigar shop open.
I've heard that story before when they people meet Glenn Case.
Yeah, it changes my life.
It changed your life. Walk away and just join Glenn Case.
Yeah.
He's a shaman. And
he is.
It's kind of like
he's a
he's a
witchcraft.
He's a witchcraft shaman.
Cast his spell
I guess he's like the.
But it's interesting the friendships that you make through cigars too.
Oh yeah, my best friends in the world.
Well, I talk about Paul Joyle and Mark Stogie Santa. Certainly, the friendship through cigars has just been amazing. Through that shop, I was, working from home, and one day I walked into their liquor store and cigar shop, and they were like, well, free Wi-Fi. And I'm like, oh, you got a lounge back there. And then I'm like, oh, I'm really into cigars. I'm like, I kind of got this list of cigars that I want to smoke. And I'm like, you guys got any of these cigars? And they're like, wow, you really you're into cigars. And yeah, let's go in the back and get some of the cigars. And they're you just make awesome friendships through cigars. Yeah. So that's some of the memorable moments.
It's a subculture. We are a subculture, and we get together. People don't do it, get together, smoke cigarettes. But when I was with AJ Fernandez, we took some of the younger reps down to the factory. And we were coming back through Miami, through, customs. And it was just packed down. There was lines like this going everywhere. And I have these 2 young reps, both of them within 23 to 27 years of age. And we're in line and coming through, we're going this way, and the line coming this way is Jonathan Drew and another guy. So my reps see him, and they're like, oh, Jonathan Drew, They're getting excited, and he's getting close to us. So they're getting excited. They're John. They're talking to him. They go up, talk to him. I'm, of course, I'm just going through the line. So this older lady who was behind me, she says to me, she goes, "Excuse me, sir, who is that guy?" She's thinking he's a rock star, or a movie star. I said, "Oh, he's a cigar guy." She's like, "Oh."
Couldn't care any less.
She's thinking she's going to meet somebody, get an autograph, someone importance to her. And it is to us, right? Yeah. To us in the subculture of cigars.
For her, she'd have a way more engaging conversation with Jonathan than most of the big people she was hoping that person
You're
was.
probably
rock
right.
Star
You're probably right.
Like that.
You're probably right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. She's like this. Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
So nobody. It's like you might as well have said, "Oh, this guy works at Dunkin' Donuts." It's like, good.
well, that was a great topic.
Fair, no, I enjoyed that one.
Yeah,
Thank
that
you.
was good. We're going to take a short break now. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about our Stogies of the week. I'm super excited. I smoked some awesome cigars this week. Will did too. We'll turn it over to our panel here in studio. Jared smoked some cigar. Will, I have way more friggin' samples than I could ever smoke in my lifetime, and I'm glad we're bringing Jared into the fold because I need some help smoking.
Yeah, we do. We need to build that feed up. Yeah.
My review backlog, dude, is huge. So
Yeah, me same here.
I handpicked some cigars, so I'm excited to talk about those. So we're gonna take a short break, come back, and talk about our Stogies of the week.